Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm having to re-record this and go live a second time. There was an issue with the first one, but welcome to our Travel Tuesday talk. And I'm going to keep this short. It's only about a 5 or 10 minute talk because we do have our Where to Next Hawaiian event going on right now, and I don't want anybody to miss out on that. So today's topic that we're going to cover is going to be travel restrictions and what's really going on with that. Domestic travel is, like we talked about last week, it's up and going. People are wanting to travel. They're wanting to get out there. I would highly encourage you. First off, let me put a disclaimer out there. I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. Anything that I say here, please do not hold it against me as legal binding truth. What I'm reading off CDC websites, state websites, and things like that. Okay, so I went out and gathered a little bit of information, which I want to share with y'all. So one of the things that I really want to talk about is when you're traveling domestically, just because your city, state, or wherever you live has a certain requirement when it comes to COVID restrictions does not mean where you are going is going to have those same requirements, okay? The CDC is putting out guidance, but the guidance is open to interpretation, and that interpretation is by your local municipalities, whether that be at a state level or a local county or city level. Okay, so just because the CDC says this doesn't mean where you're going doesn't have a stricter rule. And on top of that, if you are going somewhere and there is a private entity involved, a private business, that doesn't mean that private business does not have regulations in place, okay? So just because the city says, hey, you don't have to wear a mask if you're going here or there, doesn't mean if you walk into a place of business, that place of business isn't going to require you to wear a mask. So I would highly encourage you, wherever you're traveling, whether it be locally, whether it be domestically here in the United States, keep that mask in your pocket. Keep it in your back pocket, because you never know when you might need to pull it out and put it on. Last thing you want to do is, hey, I want to go in here, and now you can't because you didn't bring your mask with you, okay? So I would also highly encourage you, before you travel anywhere, check with your travel advisor. Your travel advisor is going to have the latest and greatest information, okay? They're going to be that second set of eyes that we're going to go through. As a travel advisor, I can speak to this. We're going to go through wherever you're wanting to go, and we're going to look and see, okay, before you go, you need this, you need this, you need this. All right. You want to make sure that you're prepared to go wherever you're going to go, because you don't want to get stuck there and not be able to experience what you want to experience because you aren't in compliance with the rules and regulations. Okay. These rules and regulations are changing literally daily. You go some places and, one day they might say, hey, this is that. And the next day it's completely changed. Okay. One thing that happened, Disney overnight at 10 o'clock at night for the next day changed their mask policy. It happened overnight, within a couple hours. People were walking in the Magic Kingdom the next day like, hey, we don't have to wear a mask outside. That's great. So these rules are changing fast. These policies that companies and businesses and municipalities and local and state governments are putting into place are happening very quickly. So you want to stay on top of that. You want to definitely make sure you know what's happening. And I see here, Jack, you've already got your cruise booked for next year. Hoping it's fastest. We hope so too. I'm going to talk about cruises here in just a couple minutes. I do want to touch on the state of Hawaii very quickly because Hawaii is a hot topic. Hawaii it's open to travel. People are loving to go there. I was just personally in Hawaii a couple weeks ago. My talk 2 weeks ago was on Hawaii. So one thing that's happening with Hawaii is they are rolling back their restrictions. Okay, the Hawaiian Islands have had some of the most stringent restrictions for the longest period of time. And I can kind of understand why. They're very remote. So with that, you have to take extra precaution because you don't want something to escalate to beyond the parameters of which you can control. So they put a lot of restrictions in place. Those restrictions are starting to roll back. Last month, Hawaii, and I believe it's for all of the islands of Hawaii, removed their mask policy outdoors. So you don't have to wear a mask outdoors if you're in the Hawaiian Islands. The Hawaiian Islands currently have a vaccination rate somewhere in the 50s. And that is people who either have a single dose vaccination or have both or are fully vaccinated. Okay. And with that being said, that is citizens of the state of Hawaii. When the state of Hawaii reaches a 60% capacity, inter-county travel for people who have received the vaccination in the Hawaiian Islands, county travel, which means between the islands, every island's a different county. So between the islands will be allowed without having to have a test prior to going or a quarantine when you arrive. as of right now, those are still in place because they haven't reached 60%. And it looks like when they reach 70%, they're going to be removing the restriction that is requiring people in the continental United States who are flying to Hawaii, that restriction of having to have the test prior to coming into quarantine. When the Hawaiian Islands reach 70%, it looks like that is going to be going away. So that's some great news for Hawaii. So if Hawaii's been on your burner and you've been wanting to go, I would encourage Hawaii. Right now, it is getting kind of busy. It's getting kind of packed. So if you want to go soon, because it's one of the few places that people can go, and it's packing up real quick. But we do have, like I said, our Where To Next event is going on right now, and you can, if you signed up for that, you should have gotten a link that started at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to try to keep this really short, like I said, because I want people to definitely enjoy that. But that is being brought to you by Norwegian Cruise Lines, the Hawaiian Islands, and Classic Vacations. And there's going to be a lot going on. A lot of information is going to be going on during that event. It is a free event. If you didn't register for it, you can go to our website here or our Facebook page, and you can definitely click in to hop into the second half of that event. But there's going to be some great giveaways, and some of the offers that are going to be given during that are only good for 14 days. So the deals that are happening during that Where To Next Hawaiian event today, those deals are only good for 14 days. At the end of 14 days, if you haven't booked it, sorry, they're off the table, and I don't know if we'd ever be able to price match those again. Okay. So rolling on, I do want to talk about cruise ships because I did promise Jack I would be talking about cruise ships here. So cruise ships are coming back. That is a big thing. That's a big industry here in the United States, and we've been waiting for 18 months. We have been waiting for cruise ships, and they are coming back. Now, cruise ships are getting approval from the CDC on a company-by-company basis. So the CDC is looking into these cruise lines, and they're saying, okay, you're clear to sail, you're clear to sail, you're clear to sail. Now, some of these might be test voyages. Some of them might be paid passenger voyages. That is going to be completely up to the CDC on what they've been allowed. So with that being said, if you're looking to take a cruise, get with your travel advisor. Talk to them. Say, hey, this is the boat I want to cruise on. These are the dates I want to cruise. These are the destinations I want to go. Let your travel advisor do that legwork for you. That's what we're here for. We're here to make your trip as safe as possible so you can enjoy it. So you want to definitely be checking because you want to know. Because I'll say this, just because you can get on the boat or you can do certain things on board the cruise ship does not mean that the destination that that cruise ship is going to allows those same things, okay? So you might not have to wear a mask at all on the ship. Great. Hey, walk around the ship, do what you want. But let's say that ship's pulling into St. Thomas. And St. Thomas is like, hey, you're not walking around St. Thomas without a mask. Okay, you want to know these things before you go. You definitely want to be checking in all these destinations to see. Now, cruises that are coming up, in 2023, 2022, it's really too early to say what it's going to be. All right. We're talking about the cruises within the next 6 months. We can really get kind of day-to-day, month-to-month information on that. We can't really speak to the cruises that are a year or so away. We can tell you what's in place right now, but all that might change. Like I said, these rules and regulations, some of them are changing daily. Some of them are changing hourly. So you definitely want to be in the know. And the best way to do that is get with that travel advisor that you have, whether that be us, one of the cruise planners, travel agencies, or whoever you're using. But have a second set of eyes looking over your trip, looking over your itinerary. So that way you make sure you know what you're getting into. Really, is what it boils down to. And like I said, I'm not going to go over every cruise line. There are too many, but you can get with your travel advisor, and what they can do is they can say, hey, you want to go on this boat, you want to go to this destination, let me tell you what's going on with it. We can also tell you when it's going to be sailing, okay? Disney announced this morning another cancellation, which has affected some people. So you definitely want to, like I said, stay in touch with that travel advisor. With that being said, I have said travel advisor a lot during this talk, and I can't help it. I'm a travel advisor. That's what I like to talk about, but I'm not trying to push anything on anybody. If you book your own travel, you Google it, that's fine. Just stay on top of your travel. Whether you're using an advisor or whether you've booked it yourself, stay on top of your travel. You want to make sure flights haven't been canceled, wars haven't broken out in the locations you're going to, regulations haven't changed. A lot of this can affect your travel. If you book through, somewhere like Orbitz or Expedia, not those are bad companies. I'm not trying to say any of these people are bad companies. But I don't think the Orbitz is going to pick up the phone and be like, hey, by the way, your flight got pushed, or your flight got canceled, or this happened. A travel advisor, we're going to let you know that. The second that I get the email that says, hey, one of my clients, this has happened to their travel, they are my next phone call, because I want them to know. They need to know immediately, because we might need to make some changes to their itinerary or changes to their plan, or possibly see if we can get a refund for them. So things happen. We understand things happen. I would also highly encourage you, and this will be a talk maybe next week or something, but do not forgo travel insurance, especially in this time that we're in. Travel insurance is so important, and people think, I don't need travel insurance, so on and so forth. You say that now, but there are different types of travel insurance out there, and I like to call it travel protection, not really travel insurance. It's travel protection. You are protecting your trip, because anything can happen. There are literally policies out there for what I like to call a wet hair day policy. Okay, and that is a cancel anytime, no strings attached policy. Does it cost a little more? It does, and your travel advisor can speak with you about that. But that also gives you that peace of mind, that protection to know that, hey, if you wake up the morning before your trip and you fall down or twist your ankle and all of a sudden now you can't go, you can pick up the phone, you can cancel that trip. It's no strings attached. You're going to get your money back. These people that do not travel without travel protection or travel insurance, you're kind of going out on a risk here, especially with what's going on in the world. Because just because your trip gets canceled, if you don't have protection or insurance, these companies are by no obligation or no means required to give you your money back. A lot of them have put into place non-refundable, and non-refundable is non-refundable. There's nothing we can do about that. That just is what it is. Now, a travel advisor can kind of go and fight for you and maybe see, hey, this is what's going on. Maybe we can get it moved, things like that. But there's no guarantee. So you always want to look into that travel protection. Like I said, that'll be a different topic for another week. We will talk more on that. But I don't want to take up any more of y'all's time today. I definitely want you to get over to the Robert.Feus next event. That's where I'm going to be zapping over here in just a moment. But we love you all. We look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions or concerns concerning any travel we have booked for you, or just any travel in general, please feel free to reach out to us. That's what we're here for. We take joy in making travel safe and memorable for anyone. So take care, guys. See you next time.